The office was quiet except for the soft hum of holographic screens. Jai Park leaned back in his leather chair, his fingers drumming a steady rhythm on the glass desk. Outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, the city of Seoul glimmered with evening lights, its skyscrapers reaching toward a darkening sky. A notification blinked on his central display. Incoming transmission from the Interstellar Property Commission. Jay's eyes narrowed. These communications rarely meant good news. The hologram flickered to life, revealing Kira Ven. She was not human. Her skin had a slight metallic sheen, and her eyes were a deep emerald green that seemed to shift with every movement. Her official uniform was crisp, with geometric patterns that suggested her alien civilization's complex cultural hierarchy. "Mr. Park," Kira began, her voice carrying a precise, almost musical tone, "we need to discuss your recent habitat design submission." Jay remained calm. He had built his reputation on taking risks, on seeing opportunities where others saw obstacles. His real estate development company had grown from a small local firm to an interplanetary enterprise in just under a decade. "I'm listening," he responded, his voice steady. Kira projected a series of technical schematics. Complex architectural blueprints materialized between them, rotating slowly. To an untrained eye, they might have looked like intricate technical drawings. But Jay understood exactly what he was seeing. The habitat design was revolutionary. Modular living spaces that could adapt to multiple planetary environments, with integrated life support systems that could recalibrate based on atmospheric conditions. It was the kind of design that could change how humans colonized distant worlds. "These designs," Kira said, her finger tracing a specific line on the hologram, "bear an unmistakable resemblance to proprietary plans filed by the Centauri Collective 5 standard years ago." Jay said nothing. He knew that silence could be more powerful than words. Kira continued, her tone growing more pointed. "We have evidence suggesting your company did not develop these concepts independently. The similarities are too precise, too intricate to be coincidental." What Kira didn't know was the months of research, the countless late nights, the team of engineers who had worked tirelessly to reimagine and improve upon existing concepts. Jay's team hadn't just copied, they had transformed. "Accusations require proof," Jay finally said, his voice calm and measured. The hologram zoomed in on specific sections of the design. Technical details that seemed identical. Structural approaches that mirrored the Centauri Collective's original concepts with remarkable precision. This was more than a simple intellectual property dispute. This was about control of future space colonization technologies. Whoever controlled the design standards would effectively shape how humanity would expand beyond Earth. Kira's holographic image leaned forward. "We will be filing a formal complaint. Your company will face significant legal and economic consequences." The transmission ended, leaving Jai alone in the darkened office. Outside, the city continued its endless dance of lights and movement, unaware of the potential interstellar conflict brewing. Jay reached for his communication device. "Hyun," he said to his lead attorney, "prepare our defense. We're going to war." The first battle of what would become a landmark case in interstellar property law had just begun, and Jay Park was determined to win. In the quiet of his office, surrounded by the tools of his trade, holographic displays, architectural models, and communication devices that could reach across star systems, Jay Park allowed himself a slight smile. This was going to be interesting. The night was young, and the real work was just beginning. The legal offices buzzed with tension. Hyun Kim spread documents across the large conference table, his fingers tracing intricate lines of evidence. Stacks of digital files and holographic projections surrounded him, each representing a piece of their defense strategy. Outside the window, Seoul moved in its usual rhythm, cars weaving through streets, people walking with purpose, technology humming in every corner. But inside this room, a different battle was brewing. Jai Park arrived precisely at 9:00 a.m., his tailored suit crisp and his expression calm. He knew the Centauri Collective wasn't just making a casual complaint. This was a serious challenge to his company's reputation and future. They're claiming direct intellectual theft, Hyun explained, pulling up detailed schematics. Their primary argument centers on these three specific design elements in the Habitat module. The designs looked remarkably similar. Structural support systems that seemed almost identical, cooling mechanisms that matched down to microscopic engineering details. To an untrained eye, it would look like a clear-cut case of copying. But Jay knew better. "Show me the molecular interaction points," Jay requested, his voice steady. Hyun zoomed into the designs. Subtle differences began to emerge. Where the Centauri design had linear support structures, Jay's team had created a more flexible, adaptive framework. Their cooling systems weren't just copied. They were fundamentally reimagined. A notification pinged. Official legal documents from the Interstellar Property Commission arrived, confirming their intent to pursue full legal action. The potential damages could run into billions of credits. "They want complete shutdown of our project," Hyun said quietly, "and substantial financial compensation." Jay understood the stakes. This wasn't just about one design. This was about establishing precedent for how human companies would interact with alien technological frameworks. One loss could mean years of restricted innovation. His team had spent 18 months developing these designs. Countless nights, hundreds of engineers, multiple prototype iterations. They hadn't stolen, they had evolved an existing concept. "We need technical experts," Jay decided. "People who can demonstrate our unique modifications." Eun Lee, their chief engineer, would be critical. She had led the team that redesigned the Habitat modules. Her technical expertise and meticulous documentation would be their strongest defense. The Centauri Collective was known for being ruthless in legal proceedings. They had successfully blocked multiple human technological developments in the past. This case would be different. Hyun began organizing their defense strategy. Each design element would be carefully analyzed, each modification documented. They would prove that inspiration was not the same as theft. "We're not just defending a design," Jay told Hyun. "We're defending human innovation." The next few weeks would determine everything. Their reputation, their company's future, and potentially the broader landscape of human-alien technological interactions hung in the balance. Outside, the city continued its relentless pace. Inside the conference room, a quiet revolution was being planned. Not with weapons or force, but with precision, intelligence, and an unwavering belief in human potential. Joe looked at the designs again. Each line, each molecular interaction point told a story of innovation, of pushing boundaries, of seeing potential where others saw only limitations. The battle was just beginning, and Jay Park was ready. The research laboratory hummed with quiet intensity. Eun Lee stood before a massive holographic display, her fingers dancing across multiple data streams. Complex technical diagrams rotated slowly, revealing intricate details of the Habitat module design. Around her, a team of 8 engineers worked silently, their eyes fixed on various screens and computational models. The air felt charged with anticipation, like something significant was about to be discovered. "Look here," Hyun whispered, zooming into a microscopic structural section. The original Centauri design had a critical weakness in its pressurization system. Most engineers would have missed it. A subtle molecular instability that would cause catastrophic failure under extreme planetary conditions. But Jay's team had found something different. Their modification wasn't just an improvement. It was a complete reimagining of the fundamental architectural approach. Where the alien design used rigid molecular compounds, they had developed a flexible, adaptive framework that could self-adjust to multiple environmental challenges. A computer simulation began running. It showed their Habitat module surviving conditions that would have destroyed the original Centauri design. Extreme temperature variations, high radiation zones, unpredictable atmospheric pressures. Their design survived them all. "This changes everything," muttered one of the younger engineers. Hyun understood the magnitude of their discovery. This wasn't just about winning a legal battle. This was about proving human technological capability on an interstellar scale. The Centauri Collective had always considered themselves technologically superior. They viewed human innovations as derivative, lacking the sophistication of their own technological frameworks. This discovery would challenge that perception completely. Send the preliminary report to Ja. Un instructed her assistant. The report would be their weapon in the upcoming legal battle. Hard evidence that their design wasn't stolen. It was fundamentally transformed. Each page documented their process, how they had taken inspiration from the original concept, but then completely reconstructed its core principles. Mathematical models, simulation results, molecular interaction analyses. Everything was meticulously recorded. Outside the laboratory, Seoul continued its endless dance of technology and human movement. Inside, something remarkable was happening. A small team was rewriting the rules of interstellar technological development. The habitat module design represented more than just an architectural breakthrough. It was a statement about human potential, about our ability to learn, adapt, and ultimately transcend existing technological limitations. Yuan looked at the final simulation results. Their design could support human colonization in environments previously considered impossible. Harsh planetary conditions that would have been death sentences could now become potential new homes. "We're ready," she said quietly to herself. The legal battle was no longer just a corporate dispute. It had become a testament to human innovation, a demonstration of our species' remarkable ability to see beyond current limitations. As the simulation completed its final run, the results were clear. The human-designed habitat module wasn't just an improvement. It was a complete technological revolution. The Centauri Collective would soon learn that copying was not the same as understanding, and humans had a unique capacity for understanding that went far beyond simple imitation. Un allowed herself a small smile. They were about to change everything. The next phase of human space exploration was waiting, and they were ready. The hearing room was unlike anything most humans had seen. Half courtroom, half technological museum, it combined alien architectural elements with functional legal infrastructure. Holographic displays floated around the central platform, showing complex technical schematics and design variations. J. Park stood confidently, his team of engineers and legal experts surrounding him. Across the room, Hira Ven and her Centauri delegation watched with intense scrutiny. Hyun Kim, their lead attorney, began presenting their case. Each slide demonstrated not just similarity, but fundamental transformation of the original design. Mathematical models, simulation results, and molecular interaction analyses told a story of human innovation. "This is not theft," Hyun explained, his voice calm and precise. "This is evolution of technology." The first demonstration showed how their habitat module could survive conditions that would destroy the original Centauri design. Extreme temperature variations, high radiation zones, unpredictable atmospheric pressures. Their design survived scenarios previously considered impossible. Kira's expression began to change. What had started as confident accusation was slowly transforming into something else. Curiosity, respect, uncertainty. Yim Lee stepped forward, her technical presentation cutting through complex scientific language. She broke down each modification, each improvement with surgical precision. It wasn't just about copying. It was about understanding and then fundamentally reimagining technological potential. The hearing room fell silent as she explained how human engineers had identified subtle weaknesses in the original design and completely reconstructed its core principles. Mathematical models demonstrated their approach, showing how their modifications solved critical structural problems. One by one, the Centauri representatives began to realize something profound. This wasn't a case of intellectual theft. This was a demonstration of human capacity for innovation. The habitat module design represented more than an architectural breakthrough. It was a statement about human potential, about our ability to learn, adapt, and ultimately transcend existing technological limitations. Jay watched carefully. He understood this was more than a legal battle. This was about establishing how human technological innovation would be perceived in the broader galactic community. As the presentation continued, the holographic displays showed increasingly complex comparisons. Side-by-side analyses revealed not just similarities, but fundamental differences. Where the Centauri design had rigid structures, the human design had flexibility. Where the alien concept had linear problem-solving approaches, the human version demonstrated adaptive thinking. Kira Venn leaned forward, her emerald eyes studying every detail. The accusation was transforming. What had begun as a legal challenge was becoming something else entirely. "Your modifications," she finally said, interrupting the presentation, "they're not just improvements. They're a complete reimagining." Hyun smiled. This was the moment they had prepared for. The hearing room felt charged with a new energy. The Centauri delegation was no longer seeing theft. They were witnessing innovation, pure, unfiltered human creativity that took an existing concept and transformed it completely. Outside the hearing room, the future of interstellar technological collaboration was being quietly rewritten. Not through conflict, but through understanding. Not through limitation, but through the remarkable human capacity to see potential where others saw only existing structures. Jai knew they had won, but more importantly, they had demonstrated something far more significant. Humans were not simply consumers of technological ideas. They were creators, innovators, a species capable of looking beyond current limitations and imagining entirely new possibilities. As the hearing concluded, the atmosphere had completely shifted. What had started as an accusation of intellectual theft was ending as a potential collaborative opportunity. The Centauri Collective was about to learn that human innovation was something entirely unique in the universe. And this was just the beginning. The final hearing was scheduled in a neutral interstellar conference center. Massive windows overlooked a landscape that blended alien and human architectural designs, a perfect metaphor for what was about to happen. Jay Park arrived with his team, each of them understanding the weight of this moment. The Interstellar Property Commission had gathered representatives from multiple alien civilizations, turning what was supposed to be a simple legal hearing into a landmark event. Kira Venn sat across the room, her previous accusatory stance replaced by something more complex. Respect, curiosity, a hint of professional admiration. After careful review, the Chief Commissioner began, his voice echoing through the chamber. "We have reached a surprising conclusion." The room held its breath. The original accusation of intellectual theft had completely transformed. The Centauri Collective's technical experts had spent weeks analyzing every detail of Jay's team's habitat module design. What they discovered was far beyond their initial assumptions. "Your modifications," Kira explained to the assembled representatives, "solve critical structural problems that have challenged our engineering teams for decades." It was more than just a legal resolution. This was a recognition of human innovative potential. The habitat module design wasn't just an improvement. It represented an entirely new approach to interstellar living spaces, flexible structures that could adapt to multiple planetary conditions, self-repairing molecular frameworks, cooling systems that could function in environments previously considered uninhabitable. Jay understood this was about more than one design. This was about how humans would be perceived in the broader galactic community. "We propose a collaborative agreement," the Chief Commissioner announced. The proposal was unprecedented. Instead of pursuing damages, the Centauri Collective wanted to develop a joint technological partnership. Jay's company would receive full recognition for their innovations, and they would work together on future habitat module designs. Hyun Kim, their lead attorney, carefully reviewed the documents. Every clause, every technical specification was examined with surgical precision. The hearing room felt different now. What had started as a potential conflict was ending as a collaborative opportunity. Representatives from various alien civilizations watched with growing interest. "This changes everything," one alien diplomat whispered to another. Jay caught Kira's eye. She nodded slightly. a gesture of professional respect that transcended their previous adversarial relationship. The resolution meant more than just a legal victory. It represented a new model of interstellar technological development. Humans weren't just going to be consumers of alien technology. They would be active creators, innovative partners in a broader galactic conversation. Outside the conference center, the landscape seemed to symbolize this moment. Human and alien architectural elements blended seamlessly, creating something entirely new. As the final documents were signed, Jay realized they had done more than win a legal battle. They had opened a door to a completely new way of thinking about technological innovation. The Centauri Collective had come looking to prove intellectual theft. They were leaving with a collaborative partnership. "We look forward to working together," the chief commissioner said, extending a hand to Ja. The moment was simple, professional, filled with potential. Hivan leaned close to Ja. "We did it," he whispered. But Jay knew this was just the beginning. Humans had just proven they were more than just another species in the galaxy. They were innovators, creators, a civilization with a remarkable ability to look beyond existing limitations and imagine entirely new possibilities. As they left the conference center, the future seemed brighter than ever, not just for Jay's company, but for human potential in the broader universe. The universe was about to get interesting.